we can start. A brief agenda for today. We will talk a lot about Ambire Legends, about latest governance proposals, a bit about extension updates lately, and we'll discuss the upcoming Ethereum upgrade and EIP 7702 in particular a lot. And Ivo and Ivan will tell us why this EIP is so significant for wallets and for Ambire in general. Um, but starting with Legends, Ivo, can you let us know what is the latest status and how is the campaign going?
It's going fantastically. We keep adding new quests. Not that often, but we do it, and there's gonna be an exciting new quest next week. Season 0 has been proceeding fantastically with a nice steady growth of both XP and users. I think the Ambire users collectively have earned over 10 million points. So that's fantastic, and yeah, generally it's going great.
Cool. There is an ongoing governance proposal which has been pushed into voting about a week ago, and there are 3 more days left. And it concerns rewards for the ongoing season, which we called Season Zero. Ivo, can you let
Mhm.
us know a bit more about what the governance vote is about and what are the mechanics of it?
Yes, so the governance vote is all about the actual reward distribution algorithm or the reward distribution formula, if you like. And yeah, it's all about how these XP that you're earning now will translate to actual wallet tokens that you receive. And the proposal, which is outlined, is that the formula will be based on the level of your character multiplied by the square root of your balance, which is sort of like quadratic voting in crypto, where the weight of your vote is the square root of however much token you have. And the cool thing about this is that it gives a fair chance to the people who have very high XP but not so high balance. So it discourages sort of lazy whales. So people who come in with a huge balance, just park the balance on the wallet, don't use it, and earn a lot of tokens. This has been the case for some projects, but we want to discourage this, and we want to give it sort of kind of not exactly an equal chance, but um, a good chance for people with higher XP to compete with people with higher balances. But obviously, balances are still important for us, so the square root of the balance is still one of the two factors.
Is
Okay,
it at this
sorry.
stage? Yeah, it's okay. At this point of the kickoff season of Legend, do you think that it is already too late to join? And there have been people asking if Legends is actually a game and saying that perhaps they're more into on-chain stuff, not into games. Do you think that it is too late to join in? And how is the most optimal way to join Legends? Do you think that it's more like gaming or just doing the regular on-chain stuff?
That's an excellent question. It's not a game, it's gamified. So, Legends rewards you for stuff that you would already do on the Ethereum network, on layer 2s, and etc. So, stuff that you do every day, or at least every week, and adds an additional game element onto it. But the thing you need to keep in mind is that Legends rewards you the most for connecting existing accounts. You can get from 5,000 to 20,000 or even more XP from connecting an existing EOA to Legends, which means that even if you are new, even if you don't care about the gaming stuff, even if you don't wanna spin the wheel every day and do all of the other gamifications, you can still catch up really quickly. And also another thing to keep in mind is that in the reward distribution formula, we use the level, and the level is also a square root of the XP. So to get to the next level, you need more XP than you needed to get to the previous level. So what this means is that it's very quick and easy to get to a level at which you will get good rewards for your balance without having to grind and without having to like be constantly online and do all the gaming elements. So Legends does allow some grinding, but the whole point of it is to discourage grinding and to encourage real usage. So I think we did a good job in this. So as long as you're a real user, you would be able to climb up the level ladder really easily without having to grind.
Legends rewarding you for on-chain stuff. Does it mean that, like, for example, if you're already doing, for example, farming a DeFi protocol or a new chain, that you're essentially doubling your what you earn, because doing the on-chain farming of a protocol, let's say, with Ambire, you're both farming the protocol but also earning Legends XP points.
Well, that's a couple of questions in one. And first of all, definitely with Legends, you get double dipping. So, for example, if you use a new protocol, you get the advantage and the benefits of using this new protocol, but in the background, you're also getting XP points in Legends and increasing your level. So it's definitely a double dip. Definitely, whatever you do in Ambire, it has the benefit of the thing itself, plus the benefit of the Ambire rewards. And this also goes not only for XP, but also for tokens. So like if you have USDT and you put them in Aave, obviously you get the 8-9% interest from Aave, but you also have this balance that if it's on a smart account, it will get counted towards your Ambire rewards. So that's fantastic. And the second part of the question is regarding new chains and new networks. And the answer for this is that Legend at the moment has a limited set of networks. But let me tell you something from the kitchen. We are preparing new cards which are gonna reward you for using Ambire on new chains. And even if the new chain doesn't isn't smart contract friendly, doesn't support smart accounts, even in this case, you will be able to get XP for it by using a new way that you already linked to your Legends account. So even if like it's a ZK chain and it's impossible to run smart accounts on it, just use the Urea way that you already linked with Legends, and at one point you're gonna get XP for that.
Cool. Is that coming like in this season or in next seasons? What are the plans?
I cannot share at the moment regarding whether it will come in this season or the next seasons, but you have to keep in mind that everything you do on Ambire might be rewarded in XP one day, even if it's not rewarded right now. So my advice would be don't try to rig the system, just try to use it as much as possible in a natural way.
Okay. And there was so before the governance vote was pushed into voting, there was a discussion which also heavily revolved around discussing the minimum threshold for getting rewards and for the level that user needs to achieve in order to get rewarded. Can you let us know a bit more about the decision of having like $500 minimum for getting eligible for rewards and for level 3?
So, okay, that's a great question. The reason why this limit exists, the first and foremost reason is that the way Legends itself is structured, you wouldn't be able to gain that many XP points if you have a balance lower than 500 USD worth, because a lot of the things that are highly rewarded are stuff like getting rewarded for swaps, getting rewarded for topping up the gas tank, and just the gas tank minimum is 10 USD. So if you don't have 500 USD on your account, then probably you won't be topping up your gas tank with 10 USD. So what I'm trying to say is that most of the quests are already designed with such amounts in mind. And also the other reason is there is a purely technical limitation in that if there are many addresses with very small balances receiving very small rewards, then this will make claiming more expensive for everyone. So we also have to consider this in mind, and we also have to consider that we want to enforce some sort of minimal engagement in order to prove user engagement, basically, because at the end of the day we want users. We don't want farmers. We don't want people who just grind for XP. We want real users. So in that regard, I think the minimum is very reasonable.
Okay. And the legends have been running since the 12th of December, so that's almost 2 months now. And the governance proposal proposes for the first season to be from 3 to 5 months. So when do you expect the season 0, so the ongoing season, to end? And what can we expect from the next season, so season 1?
Great question. So, first of all, season one is gonna have a lot more gamified elements. So it's gonna have even some multiplayer games, which is gonna be exciting. Once again, you don't have to do them, but if you do them, it's a bonus and it's fun. And this is the most important thing. What we wanna achieve here is also add some fun to using Web3 in general, because there is not that much incentive in Web3, especially in the EVM ecosystem, to use your wallet every day. People use their wallet when there is some token to buy, when there is some new protocol to explore, when the market is going up, when the market is going down. But when the market is steady, people generally don't touch their wallet. So this is why we add gamified elements to make people to incentivize people to log into Legends every day. And another thing that we can expect for season one is developer cards. So this would mean that if you deploy a contract, you would get XP. If you use devnets or testnets, again with EOAs that you linked or with the smart account itself, you're also gonna get huge XP. So yeah, developer cards, possibly new networks if it doesn't arrive in season 0. Also, of course, more gamified elements, and most importantly, partnerships. And regarding when season 0 is ending, it's probably gonna be at the end of April or maybe a bit later. What we ideally want to do is align season 1 with 7702. Because 7702 is gonna let people use smart account features for their existing accounts, so for their EOAs, and it would make a great deal of sense if season 1 is focused on 7702.
This is an
Okay.
amazing transition to our next topic, which is 7702, but perhaps we can quickly summarize all the Legends hot info. So it's not too late to join Ambire Legends. Ambire Legends is making on-chain stuff with your smart wallet fun. And there's a clear governance vote right now for rewards distribution. You can look it up on Snapshot or on our channels, and join Legends soon. So yeah, the next big topic is EAP 7702, which is very important for Ambire. But as with most of those improvement proposals, it is not always super clear to the wider audience what it is all about. So can we start with what actually EAP 7702 stands for? What is it about? And how does it affect UX?
Yeah, again, this is an amazing transition, and I also mentioned that season 1 is probably gonna be mainly about 7702, ideally, and also around some partnerships about that, but perhaps more on that later. But what 7702 is it's a way to let you use account abstraction with accounts that you already have. So why is this important? This is important because we've had account abstraction for maybe, I would say, over 3 years. We've had 4337 for over 2 years, but other forms of account abstraction have existed before that. And account abstraction so far has been anticlimactic. What I mean by that is that people have always been expecting some very interesting things. They've always had some very high expectations, and what actually ended up happening is almost like sort of a flop. Where, for example, 4337 goes live, everyone is expecting that, okay, in 6 months we're going to have huge account abstraction adoption, and at the end of the day, nothing happens. Why? Because switching your account is such a big barrier to entry. It has such high costs. When I say costs, I don't mean like literal, for example, transaction fees or gas costs or etc. It has very big like user acquisition costs because people feel safe with their existing accounts. People have staking positions which they cannot migrate. They actually technically cannot migrate to a different account. They have airdrop slots, and they feel mostly just because they feel safe. And another very important part here is that whoever is used to using hardware wallet doesn't want to switch to account abstraction because they think that the security model of account abstraction is different. And for the most part, this has been true. We at Ambire have been changing that because our smart accounts use something called hybrid account abstraction, where the smart account can use the same security model as the EOA and live on the hardware wallet. So we are a bit of an exception, but generally, most of the market has forced users into also switching their security model, which is something that people are not going to do overnight, especially if there are not enough added benefits. And account abstraction is fantastic. It has so many benefits. We've discussed them like in very, very great detail. But compared to the switching cost, it's not enough because in order to make someone switch to a new account, you need to have something that's not 50% better, but 10 times better. But switching to another wallet provider is much easier because you can import the same account. But this is also, again, something that works against account abstraction and in favor of 7702 because with pure smart accounts, you cannot import them into a different provider. And accounts that use 7702, you absolutely can. So that's what it is, a way to use account abstraction on existing accounts, which also has the added benefit of being able to switch the account, the wallet provider easily, and with the added benefit that you're not going to have any DApp compatibility issues.
That's amazing. Why do we believe that Ambire is uniquely and very well positioned for EAP 7702?
Great question. So it's because Ambire has already done 90% of 7702 in philosophical terms. So what we invented is something called hybrid account abstraction, and hybrid account abstraction combines the best from EOAs and smart accounts, which is again what 7702 does. But what I mean by this is that you have all the benefits of account abstraction, but you have the same address on every chain. Which a long time wasn't possible with most account abstraction providers. You have the ability to use any arbitrary EVM network, which even to this day is not possible with most of the account abstraction providers. In fact, I don't know any other account abstraction wallet than Ambire where I can add a custom network and use a smart account on that newly added custom network. So that's something absolutely unique to Ambire. And finally, the security model of having one key for one account. So this has two advantages. First of all, people are already familiar with it and people are not afraid of it because most of our target audience wants to continue using their ledger or to continue using their Trezor. They don't want passkeys. They don't want to be introduced to something new. They just want, okay, I have my ledger. I already know how to secure this. I already have a mental model. I already have my seed. I just want to use account abstraction with that. And then the second advantage of this is that um, I'm sorry, I forgot my train of thought, but we can come back to it.
Yeah, so existing users, for example, if you've been using MetaMask or Rabby, you will simply import your existing EOA into Ambire, either with private key, seed phrase, or hardware wallet, and you will get all the benefits of account abstraction as you have today. For example, if you're using smart accounts in Ambire. Now, Ivo, what will be the process of a user getting hands on a smarter EOA?
That's also a fantastic question. So all you need to do is import the existing account into Ambire, and in the first time you make a transaction, you're going to be asked, do you want to upgrade this account to a smarter account? You're going to click yes, hopefully, and then you just have to sign an extra message on your hardware wallet. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. Unfortunately, though, you do have to do this separately for each network, which I actually think it's kind of an advantage from a security perspective. But yeah, that's it. That's the whole process.
And does your account, after enabling it, like remain smarter forever, or can you revoke
There are
kind
two
of?
exceptions. So generally, yes. There are a couple of exceptions, and actually a third one. The first one would be when you manually revoke it. The second one would be if you use a new network where it's not enabled, and then the final one would be if you use it in another hardware, in another wallet provider, where it can be overridden. So let me give you a brief example of this. Let's say I only use Ethereum and I only use Ambire. I never have to, like, I don't want to revoke it, so I will use this forever and it will never be interrupted. But if I import this same account again into MetaMask, and MetaMask has some smart account functionality one day, and I enable smart account functionality in MetaMask, then in this case, it's going to be disabled from Ambire. And when I go back to Ambire on the Ethereum network, I have to enable it again. But it's an absolutely seamless process with seamless transitions, and you can do it as many times as you want.
Amazing. And how will 7702 impact like native smart accounts on Ambire, the already existing smart accounts on Ambire? How will they live together, the smarter EOAs and the smart accounts?
So you will be able to use them in parallel, the same way that you have been able to use your version 1 accounts in parallel to everything else. So yeah, you will be able to use them in parallel. We won't force you to migrate or anything, but we will give you some extra incentive in Legends if you use 7702.
Okay. What is 7702 actually bringing in terms of user experience? How will I, as a user on Ethereum, benefit from it? And why should I even opt in for a smarter EOA in comparison to EOA or to smart account?
That's a great question. So first of all, there's the security benefit. ERC 7702 lets you do something called transaction batching, and we've talked about this a lot. But basically, the biggest strength of this is that you can eliminate ERC20 approvals, and we all know how dangerous ERC20 approvals can be. We've all gotten hacked or exploited at some point. Personally, I think almost all of us, thanks to ERC20 approvals. And the issue with those is that for convenience reasons, most EOA wallet providers, they make you sign an infinite approval for a specific contract. And then if this contract gets exploited or upgraded to a malicious version, then you can get drained from this ERC20 approval. So it's almost like an invisible threat, because counterintuitively to what people expect, even if you have it on your cold storage, you think, okay, it's cold storage. If I don't touch it, no one can exploit me. Counterintuitively to that, they absolutely can if you have open ERC20 approvals. And with transaction batching, why we can eliminate this? Because we don't need to do infinite approvals anymore. So thanks to this, we are going to be able to eliminate infinite ERC20 approvals and therefore deliver a huge security improvement. So that's one of the things, the security. Another thing which is also kind of related to security is that you can enable account recovery for an account that only has one private key. So that's fantastic. And yeah, the other thing about things not related to security is that you have great convenience, again, with the transaction batching. You can sign multiple things at once. And another huge convenience point, but also a privacy point, is that you can pay gas in stable coins, and you can pay gas in also other ERC20s, and you can prepay for gas. So why is this great for privacy? Because you don't have to scramble to fund your account with natives, because many times what people do is they switch over to a new network, then they realize they need the native for example, you need ETH on Optimism, and you say to your friend, "Hey, can you please give me $5 in Optimism ETH to this address?" And this creates those connections that someone with not so great intentions can then follow on chain and learn a lot about you because you've asked your friend to send you it, because you've withdrawn it from an exchange, and like all of those ways to fund your account with gas, they add a privacy risk. And with gas abstraction, you can use whatever you already have on your account. And when I say stablecoins, the cool thing about gas abstraction is that you don't actually have to have stablecoins right at this second. You can actually receive any ERC20 and swap it out for a stable, and Ambire is going to be able to take from the output amount. So let's say someone sends me like 10 Trump tokens. Then I swap them for USDC, and Ambire is going to be able to take like 5 USDC from the output even even before the transaction is confirmed. So it happens at the same time as the transaction confirmation. Ambire will know that I will have the USDC after that. So yeah, convenience and privacy. And then finally, I want to add automation to this list, and that's really cool. Like for example, you can use a personal AI agent and do stuff like the AI agent can hunt for NFT drops, and even you can be asleep, and the AI agent is gonna claim an NFT that you are whitelisted for while you're sleeping. So that's really cool.
Amazing. Back to Legends, I'm curious, will it be possible in the next season for EOAs, smarter EOAs to join Ambire Legends?
Yeah, I already mentioned this, that in season 1, we're hoping to allow 7702 accounts, so smarter EOAs, to join Legends. And we're going to have some extra cards for these accounts so that they can catch up very quickly and rise up. And another cool thing that we're going to have, again, this is sort of like something that we never published before, but you can learn it from this call, is that we're going to give you the same amount of points that you actually received from linking this account to a smart account. So like, let me give you an example. I have this EOA on my Trezor device, and I linked it to my smart account, which is also on the Trezor device, and I received 10,000 XP for linking that EOA with the smart account. Now, when 7702 goes live and when I start using my original EOA as a smarter EOA, I'm gonna get those same 10,000 points in Legends right off with my first transaction. Why? Because we wanna, as I said, give an equal chance to these accounts which are joining in season 1.
Amazing.
So season 1 can come soon enough.
Yep.
What
And by the
what
way, sorry, Alash, I remembered my train of thought from earlier. Sorry. 7702, the other advantage of hybrid account abstraction, which is, as I said, like 7702 before 7702, is that when you have this one key per one account model, we call it an immutable model, you can take it to any chain, any network you want, without having the account be desynchronized. So what I mean by this is that in solutions like Safe or Ambire V1, you can add keys, right? You can add keys to the account. But when I add a key on Ethereum, tomorrow when a new network appears, this key is not going to be authorized there. And this creates some UX issues with people's expectations. And there have been ways to address this. People have been working on so-called key store rollups, but nothing is usable right now. So we find it much better from a UX perspective to limit the account to one immutable key and eliminate this UX confusion. And why is this cool? Because 7702 works in exactly the same way. So 7702 is basically Ambire's hybrid account abstraction, which brings the best from both worlds, but it also has the added benefit of being able to use it on existing accounts, which is amazing. So yeah, go ahead. We can go back to Legends now.
Cool. The question was actually about what are some of the upcoming plans. We've seen some tweets about some some features like consolidated gas tank. When can we expect that?
It's funny you should ask because this has been scheduled for months now, and we are almost ready to push it. It should be live next week, hopefully. And it's a huge UX improvement because you're not gonna have like 5 tokens in the gas tank, but everything you put in the gas tank is gonna be in USDC. So yeah, next week.
Cool. Awesome. Ivan, do we have any other questions on the list?
I think we are pretty much ready to call it a day. This was all on our agenda for today. Perhaps next time we can source some community questions as well.
Yep. Cool. Okay. So we can conclude for today. Thank you everybody for joining, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
It was amazing.
Enjoy. Have a
Thank
great
you,
day.
everyone. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.